Kids and cadets, happy Monday. I hope your first work day of the week is going swell. So we got a little show and tell. Scrapper that delivers showed up last night. I bought some various things from him besides mowers, but this is one of them. I'm just motivating. Early afternoon, getting a late start, slept in. I'm retired, 50 plus 9. So what the hell? So let's look at this turd. What do we have here? Let me get a little rag to wipe the mold off of the EPA sticker. Do not drink the fluid. Baby 20, it's a 2015 MTD 20-inch cut, hence baby 20. Model number 11 Alpha Dash 02 Bravo Tango 706. So we got to look at this thing. Why was it pushed to the street? So I kind of noticed after the fact that this rear wheel is showing a lot of rust here. The whole back quarter here is rusted beyond salvage. So I ended up paying 20 for it. So right away the deck is shot. I won't be able to sell this. Peeling paint. And there's a big rust hole right here. So I think first thing we should do is turn it over, look at the underside. We'll take a fuel sample and try to start it. Okay, we got, that wasn't good. We got a homemade filter and there's an ant's nest in here. So I don't know if these are biting ants. They're not fire ants, but these might be biters. I don't want to get too close. They got an egg nest there. Bull ants. I think these are bull ants, which will bite the shit out of you. So I'm not going to talk to these guys. I'm going to ignore them. So let's put this to the side. I'll turn it over real quick. I already looked at the blade. Blade is shot. Kind of looked at this back quarter here and the blade at the same time. No, we got ratty on here too because the tank's got rat marks on it. Bite marks. Blade shot, probably the original blade. You can see up here it's flatter than a butter knife and the lift back here is gone. You can just see the general condition, a lot of scaly rust. Up here there's a big hole. So I can't do anything with this. That's why it's caved in. It's structurally compromised. If ratty can get through it, then it's no good. Rats are able to get through small spaces, squeeze and push and all that jazz. So that's the general condition of the underside. Cable was dragging. I ended up pulling it all the way up and put a clamp on it. So that's the underside. Let's look at fuel. I'll take a fuel sample. right up here on top of the tank. It looks like they chewed that up, and they might have chewed this, or this could have broke on its own. But up here there's a bunch of big gouge marks. Well, no need to take a fuel sample because there's nothing in the tank. What's in the tank is some water droplets down there. So do you think we should fuel it first? How about we goose it just to see if it kicks off? They might have gotten rid of it due to structural integrity, and the blade might have vibrated. But they strung this thing along as long as they could. So we'll do that. We'll just go ahead and goose it. Don't mess with the bull ants, but they've seemed to make a home here in the throat of the carb. So a couple of these guys are going to get pulled in and instantly combusted, unfortunately. So this is not a good time to be a bull ant in Tommy Time's early afternoon video. Okay, where's the pull string? Let me get this. 1, 2. Didn't sound too bad. Little banging at the end when it was shutting down. Let me try to just put some real fuel in it and not Sobartak. I want real non-ethanol fuel. Okay, where's my stash? It's right here. I just got a few gallons a couple days ago. Non-ethanol. Some of this stuff, if I'm fixing it for next year, I want non-ethanol in it. Over the winter, it's going to be sitting. And maybe I'll put some fuel conditioner in some of the stuff that I know is not going to be sold right away. So this here is just going to be an engine only. Wheels don't look that good. Okay, half a tank, that was plenty. Probably overdid it since I'm going to clean this thing up anyway. Bull ants don't bite me. Oh, I killed a few of them there. The Super Tech got them. Okay, that's enough priming. Just curious to see if it'll run. Okay, running on its own, I'll take that. But I'm still going to go through the carburetor. I mean, it's surging, so it does need some attention. It's not ready to be marked as good engine, but we're nearly there. So let me bring you over to the lift table. We have more show and tell. So let me drop this down to make it a little easier to see. So as always, I'm always looking on his trailer to see what he's got people put out. More than lawn equipment, of course. So he had a jump box, and you know when they're put to the curb, the batteries are dead. Nobody throws out a good jump box unless it's a move out or foreclosure or whatever. Generally, they're dead. These batteries don't last but 3 or 4 years. So we had another smaller one, but no charger. It took a special charger. This one happens to be a direct feed with 110 right off of the unit. So he showed me this one. I says, okay, nothing on the LED, totally stone dead. 1,000 cold cranking amps, or maybe 500 cold cranking amps. I think it's 500. But it's got a USB plug in here. You can plug in your phone. It's got a 200 watt converter for 110. So I said, I'll give you a couple bucks for it. So I did. We'll get more into this in a minute. I says I'm going to need to buy a battery, and sometimes the batteries cost just as much as the rest of it. But I did some research on this. This was sold at Costco, was one of the retailers. So I looked at the reviews. First review came out in 2019, and then they made these for a couple of years, maybe 2022 or 23, and then it went discontinued. So I knew at least 2019 was when the review started, so that would indicate when these things started to come on the market. So I kept looking around for product code. Then I turned it over, and Harbor Freight does the same thing. If you can see that sticker there, 1938HL. So it's just like a tire. 2019 38th week. So this is a 2019 unit, which would correspond when the reviews started coming out. So this was one of the original ones that was sold. So 2024, 5 years, these batteries, they're basically a little motorcycle battery in these things. So I watched a guy take this apart. Basically, he wanted to bypass the slow rate charging and go direct to a battery charger to charge up this thing. So he had this thing all apart, and it's just a little motorcycle battery in there. So I decided, I paid $4 for it, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I went to the Big Jungle Company, and they're having a sale, like a 1-day sale, and I found a battery to match this for $32. So I'll be into it for $36, and these retailed for, when they were selling, for a couple $100. So I think this will be a good deal. And it's got the little compressor on the back. So this will be good for lawn tractors and starting cars and stuff. My buddy, the 2-cycle buddy of mine, Matt from Manatee County, has one. He's always messing with stuff, trying to get it to start with dead batteries. I just have a 50 amp 120 charger that I plug into the wall, and it'll jump off a car. But if I'm out looking at a rider out that somebody's selling, I don't have that option. So if I have that with me, that'll be a good deal. So I'm happy about this for under $40. So I did plug it into 120. It did come on. and it did say it was starting to charge. I went through everything, messed with it. The USB lit up, but as soon as you unplugged it, the LED went dead. So basically you're running it on 120. Once I unplugged it, it went down, indicating the battery's shot. So he had just picked up a box of stuff. I had seen the red. I says, what's in the box? He says, I don't know, I just got it. So it happened to be this Tops neon sign. So this would go in a store. These would go against the window. The neon would face out, and then on the inside of the store you would just see the tops. So I says, well, what do you think you want for it? He didn't know. I says, well, let me go plug it in. So I plugged it into my outside unit, and it came on. So I says, I'll give you $5 for it. And he didn't seem too interested. This was made in La Crosse, Wisconsin. They handwrite the manufacturing date, 3/30/2000. And this was the 316th top thing they made, union assembled in Wisconsin. So I got to looking around, in the same box was this trading card clock and no battery. So I says, I'll give you $1 for this. So $4 for that, and then $1 for this. I put a battery in it after the fact. So whoever threw this stuff out was into trading cards, it looks like. So this worked. That was good. So he had some 2-cycle stuff, an Echo that he just picked up. It looked brand new, and I told him I'd take that, but he said, no, I want to try to clean the carb and get it to run. I said, that's fine. I want you to get the most you can out of it. So then he says, well, you still interested in the neon? I says, I think it's cool. I don't need it. I'm not a card collector. I just think it's cool. So I ended up buying this for $5. So I come inside and went on eBay. I put in Tops neon sign, and there's a used one for $495, which amazed me that these things are that expensive. And I think they're $800 new for these Tops neons. So that's kind of crazy that I paid $5 for this thing, and it's an expensive item. I'm going to see if my son's interested in it. Maybe he can put it in his gaming room. So that's that. $1 for this. It worked. For the little AA battery clock. So that's basically it. So the 18 amp hour battery that I ordered is going to be in a couple days for this. So basically I looked at it. The back comes off with looks like Phillips. Yeah, Phillips head all the way around. It didn't seem too complicated in the video I saw, where the guy put his own external charging on it. He said charging through this was slow, like an amp or two. He wanted to quick charge it with 10 amp. That's the deal on his rectification, that it charges slow. And the instructions that I saw that are out there says when you initially get it, you charge it for 40 hours, which is a hell of a long time. And then up to 10 hours after heavy use. So I can see why at a 1 amp charge it takes a long time. He wanted to do a quick 10 amp quick charge on it. So Clucky's happy again. We got another yellow product. I'm going to keep motivating. So, oh, there's one other thing I want to discuss with you. I know you're going to think it's crazy, but since I've been retired, I thought with this Milton storm, I would see all this fencing out, and I thought, you know, I'd like to try to make bird houses. And with all this wood out at the street, these fences got blown down. You can tell this is pretty weathered. So I just went on YouTube, of course, and they call this a plank because it's, I believe, 5.5 inches wide. It's a wood or fence plank. I guess they're all standard. So a guy came up with dimensions. You can cut this into sections for the sides, and you can get one whole bird feeder out of one 6-foot plank. So in Florida, we have cypress, which is resistant to rot. And so all these fence sections are cypress, they're not cedar. And they put them together in a factory. They're just stapled together. So this would be plank on plank, they would call it. If I've got I got a piece to show you. This is plank on plank. You got one on the top, one on the back, top, back. That's how that works out. So down the street, I had seen somebody had put these out and they were already separated. So I says, holy shit, that makes it easy. So I threw like 40 of them in the Honda. So I may be doing a video on these, cutting them in the sections, the roof. So I did a little research. When you see a birdhouse, you'll see a little peg where they land on it and then go in the hole. So there's all kinds of things about don't put a peg because the crows sit on the peg. They stick their head in and eat the eggs. So no peg, and you got to make sure you have the right size hole. You put a big hole in it, the squirrels go in and eat the eggs. So it's just not haphazard. You got to know what you're doing, or you're going to be wasting your time, and mama and daddy bird will not be happy, or they won't take it. If the hole is too big, they won't even use it. It'll stay empty. So I'm learning about bird houses. Not that I don't have enough to do. I got enough to do, but I thought, what the hell? Help out the birdies. Since Clucky's related, third cousins, I figured, what the hell, help his family members out. That's all I got for a Monday. More show and tell than you probably wanted, but we know this engine's going to be a good runner for $10. Put it in storage. Get rid of this deck, throw it back on the scrapper's trailer when he shows up. Okay, tip your waitress and wait staff. Adios, amigos. Appreciate you coming out. Have a good rest of the week. If you're busy and you don't come back and you don't like and subscribe, still have a good week. But please like and subscribe. Adios.